So these last two, 9 and 10, slightly more challenging. We'll see how you do with them. On both of these, you're going to have to factor. I'm going to start off by letting x equal the cosine of theta, and rewriting this as 9x squared minus 12x plus 4 equals 0. Now, there is more than one way to get 9x squared. You could have 9x and 1x, or 3x and 3x. I'm going to try 3x and 3x to get 9x squared. And to get 4, I'm going to use 2 and 2. And I notice that this on the outside gives me 6 and 6, which could add to 12, as long as it's -6 and -6. And the -2 times the -2 would give me the +4. So this is the factoring, which means I have 3 cosine of theta minus 2 times 3 cosine of theta minus 2 equals 0. Now, they're the same factor, so I can just set one of them equal to 0. I mean, I could write it down twice, but it's the same equation. Add 2 to both sides, and I get 3 times the cosine of theta equals 2. I divide by 3, and I get that the cosine of theta is equal to 2/3. I take the inverse of each side. Inverse cosine of 2/3 is what theta would be, which means cosine is positive in these two quadrants. So I'm going to have a quadrant 1 answer, and I'm going to have a quadrant 4 answer. This answer, remember, is going to be 2 pi minus whatever I get there for that angle. So let's go to the calculator. Inverse cosine of 2/3, and I get 0.8411. So this is 0.8411, 0.8411. So I then want my other answer to be 2 pi minus 0.8411. 2 pi minus 0.8411, and I get 5.4421. Right, let's look at number 10. I'm going to have to factor this one as well. I'm going to start off by letting x equal the tangent of theta, and I'll have x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. When I go to factor this, I need to think of my factors of -15 that add to 2. I know that I have 1 and 15 and 5 and 3. I could do 5 and -3. That would give me a product of -15 and a sum of 2. So my factors are x plus 5 and x minus 3. Alright, I'm going to put tangent in there. Tangent of theta plus 5 and tangent of theta minus 3. Now, tangent's allowed to be any number. This doesn't have a limit of 1 to -1. In case you're thinking this is going to be no solution. And then tangent of theta minus 3 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 5 from each side, and I get that the tangent of theta equals -5. Take the inverse of each side. So the tangent, the inverse tangent is going to be -5. That means I'm going to have a quadrant 2 and a quadrant 4 answer. So I need to figure out that angle, and that's going to be 2 pi minus that number. And I need to figure out, again, that same thing is going to be pi minus that number. All right, so let's see what that number is. Inverse tangent of -5, and I get -1.3734. But the negative doesn't really matter. It just matters that, well, theta is -1.3734, but that means that this angle here is just going in this direction, 1.3734. So I'm not going to subtract a negative and actually add 0.13734. I'm going, because this angle here is 1.3734, it's 2 pi minus that number. That's going to give me my quadrant 4 answer. And I'm going to go the same direction, 1.3734, this way. And this is going to be one of my answers, and this is going to be my other answer. So let's see what they are. Pi minus 1.3734. And I get 1.7682. 1.7682 is one of my answers. And then I need to do 2 pi minus 1.3734, and I get 4.9098. 4.9098. So these are my two answers for this factor in number 10. Now I need to come over here and solve for this one. I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to move this down here. Tangent of theta minus 3 equals 0. Add 3 to both sides, and I get that the tangent of theta equals 3. Take the inverse of each side. Now I know tangent is positive, so that I'm going to have a quadrant 1 and a quadrant 3 answer. This answer here is going to be pi plus whatever that angle is. Let's see what it is. Inverse tangent of positive 3, and I get 1.2490. 1.2490. So right here is going to be 1.2490. That goes in here. That's one of my answers. So that means that that's my angle here, is 1.2490, which means this is the same thing. So I'm going to have pi plus 1.2490. And let's see what I get. Pi plus 1.2490. And I get 4.3906. 4.3906 is my other answer. So number 10 has 1, 2, 3, 4 answers, whereas number 9 only had 1 answer. Or no, I'm sorry, this one had 2. Only had 1 factor. It didn't have 4 answers, it only had 2 for number